Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. Okay, so again, not much eventful things happened in this practice. This was another padded practice. It was a more physical practice. There was a lot of interesting one-on-ones between offensive linemen and defensive linemen. Danny Shelton lost a couple. I think Brett Hagee lost a couple. I think Danny Shelton bull rushed him. There was just a ton of one-on-one matchups. Nothing really to take away from it. It's just camp. Guys are just getting loose. So nothing really that I will react to as far as one-on-one reps. Of course, they had their regular 11-on-11. But just to cap off that video I did yesterday about Joe Judge, these guys on Twitter, especially these ex-Chiefs players, and Duke Manyweather, who I like, I respect as an offensive line coach. He always is able to provide insight as far as how guys are playing, what techniques people are doing wrong, and he knows what he's talking about. But as far as the Joe Judge stuff, he's criticizing it. You got Mekhi Becton for the Jets, sneak dissing Joe Judge. It's getting out of hand. But my favorite comment by far, my favorite tweet by far, is the Jeff Schwartz tweet where he said, Joe Looney gets there, the next day there's a brawl. He has to do push-ups and run laps. Brutal. And it was just funny to me, so I had to make a t-shirt about it. And you can check it out if you want. But I just thought it was a funny thing. And once something is that much of a meme, you got to put it on a shirt. But this whole thing has been hilarious. I've never seen so many grown men obsessed about what's going on. Completely, none of this has anything to do with him, but they've been talking continuously about Joe Judge. It's really strange to me. I don't get why they're so upset about it. But I want to move on from that because that's getting kind of old. Rodarius Williams, as yesterday, is Groundhog Day today because the same guys are showing up, and I love to see it. Rodarius Williams, our 6th-round pick, against someone who I thought should have gone much, much higher. And I do have some game tape on him. I do have some film on him. And I've been thinking about dropping one film session, before we get into this preseason on Rodarius Williams to show why he should have gone higher and just how good of a corner he is. And he's really showing it. I don't know where he's playing on the field right now because I tried to reach out to some reporters to see where exactly he was playing, who he was replacing. I did hear that Bradbury or Adoree Jackson were taking some plays off because Joe Judge is kind of trying to give some of these people rest. So I'm guessing that he was taking one of those outside corner spots. Didn't get an interception today, but they just talked about how he was playing with the ones and that he was, in fact, playing well. So keep looking out for Rodarius Williams. This guy is looking to be our 5th corner. If your 5th corner is able to play with the ones and is able to be able to guard a second receiver, I think you're in great shape because he's the 5th guy. He's the 5th guy. So we are looking really ridiculous at corner. Darnay Holmes was doing his thing in the slot. The secondary as a whole has been dominating this practice since the beginning of training camp. But Darnay Holmes has been doing his thing in the slot. He got an interception today where he just completely undercut somebody, dove across the field like a Madden kind of interception. So the corners have been playing really well. Darnay Holmes was getting put in a spin cycle by Sterling Shepard a couple of days ago. But he seems like he's actually bouncing back from that. Other than that, the offensive line, they've been kind of shuffling guys around. One, because we've had our injuries. We've had retirements. We've had a ton of things. I'm still waiting for him to bring in a veteran for the offensive line. I did see that they were talking to some guy that played center, but he was a journeyman who never has played in an NFL game. I think we need a veteran offensive lineman, even if he's not going to start, just because we need some experience in that offensive line room besides Nate Solder. I really want to bring in a veteran to compete on the interior. So I hope we can do that soon. But anyway, Nick Gates moved over from center. Jonathan Harrison stepped in at center. Hopefully that guy doesn't retire. Jonathan Harrison stepped in at center while Nick Gates moved to right guard just to give us, a different look because they want guys to be versatile. So he played right guard. After that, Nick Gates went back to center. and Nate Solder slid in at right guard. And I'm pretty sure Nate Solder had experience playing right guard or left guard a couple of years ago for the Patriots after some injuries happened. I'm pretty sure that ended up happening. So I like that kind of idea of using him as a guard, because that kind of makes us have more depth in the interior. If he can be a guy that steps in as a swing guard, I still do think we need to bring in a pure guard center kind of guy for that next man up in the interior. But Nate Solder was someone I completely forgot does have a little bit of experience at guard. Now actually I'm telling you to fact check me on that, because I might be mixing him up with another Patriots offensive lineman, but I'm pretty sure that he's played a couple of snaps at least at guard for the Patriots. So it was interesting to see guys get moved around, because we really don't have a choice. We have to have people who can be versatile. Nick Gates said that he was actually more comfortable at guard, which makes me reiterate, I'm once again asking you to bring in Austin Ryder, because Nick Gates, he lit up when they asked him about guard. He said he feels at home at guard. It's almost like he said he wanted to move to right guard again. So Nick Gates, he's excited about that. He's going to end up playing center. But if we were to bring in Austin Ryder, who is a starting center in this league, people want to talk about he's not good in the run game. Guess what? It's 2021. We need to be able to throw the ball. We need protection. We need to be able to throw the ball. I don't care how he is in the run game. I just don't care. I really don't. We need someone to protect for Daniel Jones in the middle of the pocket. I'd rather someone be a pass blocker than a run blocker all day long. So slide Austin Ryder in at center. Put Nick Gates back at a position that he just said that he loved to play. And you got two new positions filled with competent starters, instead of being stubborn and leaning into Lemieux and Hernandez and not much depth behind them. I just think that that's a good idea. But we still haven't brought in Austin Ryder. I don't know if we ever will. I don't know if he even wants to play, because Joe Judge did say a lot of these older guys are talking about retirement. Other things I wanted to get to, John Ross once again had his biggest play of training camp so far, and he's had a nice camp. And the best thing about John Ross so far has been, I haven't heard anything about John Ross dropping passes. I haven't heard of any passes getting dropped by John Ross. So if he's a guy that's going to catch everything they throw at him, the Giants receiving core looks really good. And I mean, Galladay coming back, Kadarius Toney sliding in, looking good. He had a touchdown, his first touchdown of training camp today. He had his first one. So if for some reason John Ross can start catching the football consistently, we got ourselves really a second round level receiver at the very least, in my opinion, because the guy is talented. The guy is sudden. He is quick. He can run routes better than people think. And he's one of the fastest people in the league. One of the fastest people in the league. The fastest in the 40. But football speed, at least top 2 or 3 in the league fastest. So if he can continue to catch the ball, that's going to be great for us. Other than that, our guys, our original guys who we have kind of counted out, it seems like they put in a lot of work this offseason. I'm going to go ahead and give Travis Kelce and George Kittle a big round of applause, because guess what? They did something that I thought was impossible. It looks like, and I'm going to knock on wood, it looks like they actually fixed Evan Ingram. It looks like they fixed him. The guy is constantly open. He's catching passes. He looks like the Evan Ingram of the beginning of 2019, where Eli Manning was throwing him the ball and Daniel Jones got him one, and he, got across the field and took that for like 80 yards for a touchdown. He really looks like Evan Ingram, who can catch the ball. So all he's got to do now is stay healthy, and I'm going to knock on wood again. All you got to do is stay healthy. Stay healthy. Do your thing. Keep being you. And actually, if he's healthy, he's a Pro Bowl tight end. If he's healthy and he can catch the ball, he's a Pro Bowl tight end. Moving on, another guy that needs to stay healthy, Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard has been annihilating DBs in his training camp, all camp. It's like once he switched his number to 3, he's like taking everything up a notch, to the point to where if this dude is going to be as effective as he looks in camp, I was thinking that the Giants would probably move on from him and just keep Kadarius Toney and slide him into, as the second receiver or first receiver, wherever you want to put him. I was thinking that Kadarius Toney would take over that role and Darius Slayton will be your number 3 option. But if Sterling Shepard is going to play this well, it's going to be tough to move on from him because he's creating separation. He is annihilating guys in man coverage. It is laughable, and he continues to be dominant. So our 2 guys, Shepard and Ingram, the 2 guys that were brought in to be complements to Odell Beckham, it looks like they're going to be great complements all year to Kenny Golladay. It looks like Kadarius Toney's going to do his thing, and it looks like John Ross is going to do his thing. And then another thing on top of that, David Sills showed up again. David Sills keeps showing up. Again, I had not been a believer of him, but if he keeps making these plays, guys are appreciating that. Coach Judge talked about it in his press conference yesterday that David Sills followed Daniel Jones all around the country. Every time Daniel Jones went somewhere to throw the ball, David Sills was there if no one else was there. So you got to appreciate that kind of hard work. And I mean, I wish the guy well. I wish him well. Hopefully he can make the team. Hopefully, he can get some burn, but he's got a lot of talented receivers ahead of him, and he's got to be able to play some special teams. So we'll see what happens with David Sills. I think he's competing with really Dante Pettis and CJ Board and those guys for that 6th spot at receiver. Lastly, what I wanted to talk about is the offensive line, kind of revisiting to what I talked about. It says that they're struggling. Reporters have been saying that the offensive line is struggling. I don't know what to think about it. It could mean that our defensive line is actually more effective than we thought as far as just the down linemen. But at the same time, Azeez Ojulari didn't play today. Lorenzo Carter's been out of practice. So if you're telling me that Afadi Odenigbo and who knows who else is out there, I can't even fathom who's out there. I mean, I guess you got Leonard Williams there. Maybe he's, harassing guys. Maybe Dexter Lawrence is. I would hope it's those 2 that are doing that. Because if it's guys, beating our tackles on the edge, that's kind of concerning. That's really kind of concerning because there's not much talent on the edge. And there's not much raw talent even on the edge once you consider the fact that Lorenzo Carter isn't playing. And then on top of that, our rookie, Azeez Ojulari, isn't playing. So probably your 2 most raw, edge rusher guys, they're not out there. So I don't know who's out there playing edge rusher at this point because basically our entire outside linebacking core is on the PUP list. And, of course, they gave Azeez a day off because he's been working so hard and he's been the only guy that's pretty much been staying healthy. But that's kind of concerning. So either our pass rush in the interior is dominant and it's going to be dominant all year, or the offensive line is really struggling. But we got to give them some time to gel some more. We got to give them some preseason games to play together, and I think they'll eventually get it together. So you guys let me know what you're thinking of Giants training camp. We are officially 1 week away from the first preseason game against the Jets. The Jets are on my list. They're on my list. Robert Saleh talked about Joe Judge. Mekhi Becton talked about him. I just can't wait to play them. It's not a game that counts for anything, but who doesn't love beating the Jets? I mean, you root for your backups to beat the Jets, backups, because we just don't like them. So you guys have a great rest of your day. If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.